Okay, we'll be going live shortly. T minus 10, 9. Aloha Pumehana Kako, the June 24th, 2026 Neighborhood Board number 34 meeting is called to order. Welcome to our Makakilo-Kapolei-Honokai Hale Community Forum. My name is Anthony Makana Paris, and I serve as your board chair. We are holding a hybrid meeting and have community members online via WebEx and in person at Kapolei Hale. Order and decorum. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand in person or your virtual hand online and wait for the presiding officer to recognize you before speaking. Please introduce yourself and address your comments to the chair. Tonight, we are joined by our neighborhood board assistant, Melissa Uribio, and who has worked with us previously. And they finally figured out that she's going to be our permanent replacement. So mahalo and welcome. Yay. Let's see how long she lasts. I'm just kidding. We've already gone through like 3 of them. Like, no, I think we're like a training ground for a lot of neighborhood board assistants. Like once they get good here, then they end up somewhere else. Okay. Speakers have 3 minutes to comment on any item, and those giving reports this evening may have up to 10 minutes, and the presentation materials are available in the board packet, which is in your Google Drive. Please remember to silence all electronic devices and keep yourself muted if you are speaking when you're not speaking if you're online via WebEx. This is our community forum, so please engage in the spirit of aloha. Feel free to debate the agenda items vigorously and treat each other with respect, especially when you're passionately advocating. And let's honor each other by keeping to the allotted times for speaking and collectively finishing our community forum in a timely manner. So are there any questions at this point? Seeing none, I'll ask our newly permanent neighborhood board assistant to do the roll call.
Thank you, Chair. Member Bossler? Thank you. Member England? Here. Thank you. Member Ferreira? Thank you. Member Kahele? Thank you. Member Lidstone? Thank you. Member Medeiros? Thank you. Member Ta'ala? I think that was someone else. Member Ta'ala? Not here at the moment. And Chair Paris. Chair, you have 7 members present and quorum established.
Mahalo. And now we jump into the reports. First up this evening is Honolulu Fire Department. So come on down.
Aloha, everyone. I am Dane, and I'm representing the Honolulu Fire Department. I've got some statistics for the month of May 2026. The Honolulu Fire Department has responded to 2 structure fires, 1 wildland or brush fire, 11 nuisance fires. Nuisance fires are fires including rubbish fires outside of a structure or a vehicle. We responded to 28 activated alarms, so no fire. As far as emergencies, we responded to 181 medical emergencies, 1 motor vehicle collision with a pedestrian, 5 motor vehicle crashes that resulted in a collision, and 1 hazardous materials incident. So a fire safety tip, this is hurricane season. Hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th. As we enter into the season, it's time to check your kit, refresh your supplies, and ensure everyone in your family knows your plan. Visit honolulu.gov to learn about risks and hazards and how to be prepared and what to do in an event of a hurricane. So a couple of tips. Build a 14-day disaster supply kit to include everything in your household you would need to survive for 2 weeks without utilities. Check insurance policies to determine what, if any, hurricane-related damage is covered by your policy. Standard homeowner and renters insurance do not include hurricane or flood coverage. Get appropriate supplies to protect windows. They need to be sized for your window well in advance of a storm. Sign up to get storm alerts directed to your phone at hnlalert.gov. Also, we're going to take questions. If there's any more questions, you can visit fire.honolulu.gov and submit your question there. So, questions?
Okay, mahalo for the report. Any questions, comments, or concerns for Honolulu Fire Department from the board? Any questions, comments, or concerns for Honolulu Fire Department from the community at large? Okay, Auntie, come on down and but everybody online cannot hear you, so we can hear you, but nobody else can online. Yeah, or on Olelo, they don't can hear you either. Let's hear your Nani Leo, please. Okay.
And on news, they're talking about the hazmat items that were in collection of they had a fire. How long transport? A couple of fires on that, and it's not here, but you know, I know that like there, but backed up on the regular basis. That's all I got. No, it's just close stuff.
Captain Surgeon. Our inspections department, they go around, inspections is usually every 2 years, but year basis. We feel the re-inspection.
It's just for junkyards and.
It's overall.
Mahalo. Okay, there's a question from board member Mick Furr. Go right ahead.
Yeah, hi. I guess past couple of weeks, 3 weeks, there was this huge pile of homeless belongings, including shopping carts, right there on Makakilo Boulevard, in front of the state building that were completely burned up. And of course, it didn't look as if there was a response to whatever fire was there, which looked like it probably burned pretty good. And then it's remained there. I don't know if it's been cleaned up, but I saw it for another couple of weeks afterwards. Were you folks aware of it, or I'm starting to see where homeless people are going after each other and burning their belongings, and I'm seeing evidence of it in different places.
Correct. I actually, in my company, we responded to that fire. I did, yeah. Well, we put it out. HPD was there. We left the scene with them, and I didn't know that it stayed there for weeks.
Well, it becomes the city's issue, not the fire department. I understand that. So Public Works, but I was just wondering if you're aware of that, and has there been any other fires in some of these homeless camps? I've been aware of, people have made me aware of.
Actually are. It's not as much prevalent as it was before. I think it cleared out some areas where there used to happen a lot more. So this is not as prevalent, but it's still happening.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Come on down, Auntie, please.
I'm Jackie Zahn from Makakilo. I want to bring up an incident that would be very helpful right now with hurricane season, since I've been involved with it for several years with the community, is what exactly requirements, who is following up to see if the homeowners are actually going 35 feet to keep a safe barrier. So in the gulch area, so we don't have fires like we had up in Upper Makakilo, clear up there by the pasture and all the way up to the different points of the area, all the way around the whole Makakilo. The fences where they have the cattle, the Brahma bulls, all the horses and stuff. Do they have something? And even on some of the ranch areas there. Is someone monitoring? Because there's a lot of timber, and this is going to be our worst year. If we don't get on people to educate them, we're going to have a mess. So I'm just asking, is there something maybe you could put out, and then we could put the stuff out to our associations and in the neighborhood and different areas to try to make it happen better? That's what we need, but I'm just saying, that's my main concern, because the areas now, area got cut down, the grass stays there, it was maybe 5 feet high. You know what we do with that? We burn it in Kansas. We burn pastures. We keep it low. We don't have fires like they have here. We live in a country, never have problems, because you do it with a license, you do it once you're required, and you work with the fire department. But people over here, they just think maybe they're gonna cook something, they just borrow some grass, or somebody go by with the motor scooter or whatever. And I just wanna know how can we help us prevent it? The season's starting now, but it's gonna get a lot worse. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I know after the fires we had, the Hale fires, and even the fires we had in Makakilo area, they have been trying to put together committees and going throughout the neighborhoods and try to work on that with landowners or business owners, it is, and community. It's still an ongoing process. I can get back to you on how that's going.
Now, I know 3,680 members need to spend the week back. And I get other boards fast. I know a lot of people want to get this.
Okay. Mahalo. Thank you, Auntie, for the question regarding the amount of fire, quote unquote, fuel, as we've been educated by Honolulu Fire Department, right? And we've been having some really interesting weather patterns and a lot more rain recently. So it seems like we're going to have a lot more fuel than usual. So whatever we can do to help you all, help us manage the fires, please feel free, Captain and crew, to just let us know what we got to do to make sure that we make sure you guys do good work, but not go crazy, because we never do our part. Okay, with that, thank you for your service, and we are good to the next round. Okay, mahalo. Okay, now let's invite up Honolulu Police Department online.
Evening, aloha, board chair, members, and community. Sergeant Fumi Muraoka with Honolulu Police Department, District 8 Community Policing Team. I have the crime stats for May of 2026. So for the district, motor vehicle thefts, 25, 13 in our area. Burglaries, 25 in our district, 6 in our area. Thefts, 101 reported. Makakilo area had 59. Break-ins to vehicles, 19 in the district, 10 in our area. Speeding citations, 65. Moving violations, 448. Parking violations, 260. Total citations was 901. Total calls for service in our district, 9,497. For our area, 3,160. I think we had one follow-up to report on, which was whether the traffic from the Sonic fast food opening resulted in an increase in parking complaints or citations. That does not seem to be the case. We did do some parking enforcement in the Makakilo area, but so it shows in the numbers that there was an increase in parking citations issued this May, but it was not related to the Sonic traffic. So I just wanted to report on that. Any other questions or comments? I'll be happy to take them.
Mahalo for the report. Any questions, comments, or concerns from the board? Chair recognizes Treasurer Sheila Medeiros.
Hello, just have a question in regards to the resource officer in Kapolei. If you know any update on that, how well is it going? What may need improvement on? And if it is going well, what is the time frame for other schools that want it to be applied for them to get one?
Yeah, thanks for the question. That was for the Kapolei High School resource officers. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's going very well. You know, we have 3 officers at Kapolei as well as 2 at Waianae. It's been successful so far and going well to the point where they want to continue to increase Waianae to 3 officers, as well as it looks like Nanakuli is the next school to get the program started at the schools. And hopefully it goes from there and continues to the rest of the island, hopefully sometime in the future. But they've been, the 3 resource officers, they've been getting involved in a lot of school activities. They've been invited to join other, you know, activities even after school. And I think it's going very well. We also have a monthly meeting with at least the school resource officers in our district, and every month.
Hey, aloha. Sergeant Fumi Muraoka, if you're available, please contact us. I'm wondering if did we lose contact with everybody online? But he's still there.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
did it get cut off?
Just your video. We can hear your voice.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Mahalo. Thank you so much for the update on the community resource officer and that the program goes well. And well wishes to Nanakuli to get theirs, because if I recall correctly, they were the ones that were championing the policy position in the first place. Because
Most recently, they were the ones that were pushing for it more, but the conversation for SROs had really started a long time ago, you know, and there was just a more recent push that Nanakuli brought. So yeah, I think our command recognizes that, and they want to bring it to Nanakuli next. So
that's
thank
super
you.
awesome to hear. And also good to hear that this conversation has been going on for a while, and I'm glad it made it through. Now, any further questions, comments, or concerns from the board? Chair recognizes Board Member Mick Ferrara.
Yeah, hi. As you know, we've gotten a number of more homeless people from downtown coming out here, and I've had a couple of folks too also ask me the question. A number of the bus shelters are now being inhabited almost full time by homeless folks, and I was trying to get together a PowerPoint for the resolution that we're going to present tonight, and it turned out I had so many pictures of different situations, and even on the way down here, there was an incredibly huge pile of personal effects over by the park on the sidewalk that I couldn't even do a PowerPoint because it would have just been a heartbreaking travelogue of photographs of all the different situations here. But what's happening here is that normal, regular people can't use the bus stop for what it's supposed to be for because somebody is laying there under the influence, knocked out drunk. And I'm not talking like the aunties that are like, looks to be permanently living on a bench across the street from 7-Eleven in the police station. I would hope that one of the organizations could reach out and try to find some house or something for them. But as far as enforcing drunk in public, intoxicated in public, and taking up the bus benches. What kind of resources do you have for that, or what kind of enforcement can we get so that we could keep those areas clear so that our kapuna and regular people who want to use the bus aren't having to deal with somebody flopped out, passed out with all their stuff spread out? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that question. Yeah, homelessness is a ongoing problem that we've been addressing with cleanups. The ACLU did sue the city in 2015 and 2023. So we have a lot of rules that we have to follow the city to enforce homeless cleanups. We don't call them sweeps anymore. And you mentioned housing. We always do cleanups every week with other city agencies, and we have a city contracted outreach agency, Keloho West, in our district, and we're always asking them and pushing for them to go to shelters and housing. Most times they refuse. Yeah, so it's not only a matter of lack of housing, but convincing them to go, because most times they refuse to leave the area. And if we do force them and arrest, cite, and we get them to leave while we do the cleanup, a lot of them come back to the exact same place. A lot of them have a reason to stay in the area, like their family comes to provide some support and things like that. So they want to know where their family is at, and things like that. There's a lot of issues that we have to deal with. But as far as bus stops and things like that, it's kind of a case by case thing where, we'd have to look at small things like public drunkenness, disorderly, things like that to address any violations that we can use to, do enforcement, remove them involuntarily, or to remove their property. When we arrest them, we are required to take their property if they claim it. So that's the hard part. Yeah, if they have a lot of property, we're not able to. The police department doesn't have the resources to take all of their property. So that's why we do regular cleanups, and that's the way we're approaching it. Hoping to do regular cleanups. It keeps their area small with their homeless property, and hopefully they eventually get tired and finally go into housing, or move to a different place where they're out of the public eye. So, and some of them do go into housing. There are a lot as well that are waiting for their Section 8 vouchers to come through, and housing to open up for them. But thank you for that question.
Mahalo. Any other questions, comments, or concerns from board members? Any questions, comments, or concerns for HPD from the community at large? Okay, seeing none, mahalo for your report and your service, and we will see you next time.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, let's see if we have Board of Water Supply with us online.
Aloha, I'm here.
Aloha. Oh, yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you as well. I just have a couple of things tonight. First are our water main breaks for the month of May. There were 2 in the Makakilo-Kapolei-Honokai Hale area. On May 14th, an 8-inch water main broke at 92308 Nahona Place, and on May 26th, a 12-inch water main broke at 2020 Wheelie Wheelie Street. And then our announcement tonight is for our semi-annual water quality report. We used to do this on an annual basis, but in the past couple years, we changed it to twice a year. So we conduct thousands of tests on our water sources and distribution systems just to ensure that the municipal water meets or exceeds all federal and state safe drinking water standards. So the testing results are shared with BWS customers via our water quality reports, and they are mailed semi-annually. The first one should be received by July 1st, and the second are mailed in December. Residents, whether or not they are service account holders, can also obtain water quality reports at our website, so boardofwatersupply.com/WQR. And then on the website, we also have additional water quality information. And we also have a new large print booklet that describes the origin of the water and substances listed in the report. If there's any information needed on that, you can again go to our website or just give us a call at 808-748-5041. And then this is a little early, but August 1st, we are having our annual plant sale at the Halava Xeriscape Garden. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I will have more details on that next month, but save the date in your calendars. And I know Curtis had sent some questions from last month. I know there's a lot of concern about the desal facility and just water situations on the west side. So if you folks want, we're happy to have our water resources program administrator come out and really address those questions head on. They're much more the expert than I am in that. But we could come next month or the month after, whenever is good for you folks. We're happy to come out and just do a little talk story about that. And with that, any questions or concerns, I'm happy to take back.
Mahalo for the report back and for offering to bring some technical experts. Let's look at board members that have questions. Then we'll start with board member Monica Hale.
Thank you, Nicole, for your detailed report. With the adoption of AI, ChatGPT, et cetera, that's come into our community, it's probably already here. Do you understand the involvement of water cooling systems in their power source and how will it affect our community water? Because we have, there's evidence that's occurring in other states that the contamination of the water coming from those organizations is creating problems. Can you add that to your experts, Q&A when they come visit us next month or whenever? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Next, we'll go with Dr. Amy Bosler.
Thank you. Thank you, Nikki. I got my water report a few days ago, so I appreciated it, read through it. Thank you for all your hard work. We really appreciated the Zero Water Day that we had about 2 years ago here in Kapolei, and water is always on our mind, and conservation and access. In your handout, you have about different programs and ideas for helping conserve water. It's great, and there is a little blurb, one page about rain barrels. If I know they're at the Xeriscape Garden, I know you sell them. If there's any way possible, you could put us, Kapolei, on your agenda or your calendar. We would love to host a Xeriscape rain barrel workshop distribution out here in Kapolei. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that is 100% doable. So if you like, I can contact you directly. I can put you in touch with our water conservation team. That way we can get that ball rolling right away for you.
Sure. Thank you.
Great. Now let's go to board member Sheila Medeiros, followed by vice chair.
Hello, thank you for your update. I had the questions that were addressed to the board back in August, and I think that's what you're referring to. My major concern is our infrastructure and water being one of them. And we have many developments that are in planning or are actually being built right now. And the concern is, did DPP or whoever grants these developments, I'm sure they've had conversations with you folks. And if they did, what is it that you folks provide them in terms of sustainability? Like how much water is going to be used for that development? Because I just don't, it doesn't make sense with all of this. We have high rises coming up, and we have other, a master one in Kalaeloa that's coming up. And the concern is VI is not unlimited. So I'd really like to have, I'm glad that your experts are coming in, because we need to have a shared understanding, not just here in the board, but the community at large, because this is a concern. Thank you.
I appreciate that follow-up. That is definitely a concern because it is a finite resource. So I hope that our technical team will be able to really answer all of those questions.
Nicole, fast question on the desalination plant. I haven't been following up with it, but is it completed and operational?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, it's still okay.
Yeah, lots of red tape and
Got it. Okay, mahalo.
Okay, so I think we could possibly target for August for a conversation with Board of Water Supply. And hearing the concerns that were raised by the community, I think one part of the conversation should be about the allocation of water for new developments, about the EVA Watershed Management Plan. And the fact that the EVA Management Plan was drafted or created in 2017, but the Red Hill spill that caused the current water crisis happened in 2021. So the questions about whether or not we have appropriate water or not, given the totally different situation now on the island of Oahu, I think it's super pressing for us to have that conversation. Because if all of the entitlements is based off of pre-Red Hill, then are we going to be asking the community to increase water conservation because of the fact that we're still allowing certain levels of entitlements for major development of industry? Are we going to ask the community to bear that when we're not actually asking the new neighbors that are developers to bear similar? So we just don't have enough information because we don't know how you're talking with EPP or Seaworm or whoever to figure out what's the new water entitlement. So that would be super helpful, and we can talk offline if you would like about more details about the particular development projects that are coming up for us and their water entitlements.
okay, all completely valid points. So I appreciate you folks bringing that up.
Okay, awesome. Any questions, comments, or concerns for Board of Water Supply from the community at large? Come on down.
Yes, my name is Patricia Hernandez. I am a resident of the villages of Kapolei. I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention and basically just public awareness that there is current talks amongst the villages of Kapolei regarding the non-potable water system. And it's with HHFDC, obviously being the landowner. It brings a lot of great concerns to myself as a resident. My partner is a homeowner, because a lot of what is being discussed would then be transferred to us as homeowners. I'd like to highlight that people that do utilize it is the Department of Education, which is the Kapolei Middle School, the Kapolei High School, along with the villages, or not the villages, but the Kapolei Golf Course, the Daniel Akaka Veterans Care Home Center. They also use it. Other infrastructures that are going to be coming up here may possibly use it. But I just wanted to bring it up because a lot of are being, I think, subjected around not the contract that HHFDC has with the Board of Water Supply in terms of rate and costs, but just the overall rate that the Board of Water Supply has with the regular customers. So I just wanted to bring that up because it is talks that are continuing to be pushed forward without given consideration to proper research studies. At the last meeting, I believe the board is trying to do an ad hoc committee, which limits only the officers to be a part of this ad hoc committee, not taking any other members from the association to be a part of the committee. They're just trying to bulldoze and push through. And I just wanted to bring that to the public's awareness that this is something that they're trying to push forward, and I'm totally opposed to it. Thank you.
So mahalo community member for raising up that, and for Board of Water Supply connection. Let's see if in part of the technical conversation, you talk about the public and private infrastructure that exists for water services in the region, particularly since if I recall correctly, the private water services were because of the federal lands that was before and Barbara's Point. And how that works out, how they work with you or not work with you, how do they access the waters? I think it'll be super helpful to see what their entitlements are and if they had to shift because of Red Hill or not. To your understanding, that'll be great.
Got it.
Yeah, no problem. We might just have you all that evening. That's the only presentation. Let's talk about West Oahu water.
That's okay. It's an important subject, so valid.
Okay, any other community comments, questions, or concerns for Board of Water Supply? Seeing that they're gonna come back likely in 2 months. Okay, great. Hearing none, we got lots of homework and we'll feel free to reach out to have offline conversations.
Oh, thank you so much. Aloha, everyone.
Mahalo. Now let's go to Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative, if we have Deputy Director Zeisman online, I believe.
Good evening. I'm online this evening. Hello, Chair, board members, and members of the community. Deborah Zeisman on behalf of the mayor. I have a lot of questions that came in the last month, so bear with me. I have we can pause at any time, Chair, if you wish, and since I can't see everyone in the room, if there's questions, I'm happy to take them as we go. But
That sounds good. Let's take them as we go because there was a lot and
there was a lot.
let's,
Yeah, so
let's take them
I'm
as
happy.
we go.
I'm happy to provide lots of information. I can't see the room since I'm online today, so just stop me as we go if there's questions or concerns. So first, just a few announcements from the mayor's office. I mentioned last month as well that the Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resilience has released a draft of the first ever Oahu Food Systems Plan, which is a strategic plan looking at how the city can impact our food systems over the next 5 years, with many actions around how food is produced, distributed, accessed, and disposed of. And that office is looking for public comment through the end of this month at their website, which is resilientoahu.org. So you still have another week if you have mana'o to share on the first ever food systems plan. Next announcement, we did welcome a brand new Honolulu Police Chief, David Lazar. I know he's doing community outreach as well. And we bid a fond farewell to the managing director, Mike Formby, who left us about a month ago to go back into private sector. And actually, my office, the Office of Economic Revitalization, has a new program with microloans to local small businesses. So if folks are interested, the purpose of those loans is for first loans or folks who may have difficulty getting a loan from a traditional bank, so underwritten by the city. And there's more details on all of those things in the mayor's newsletter online, and usually the neighborhood board staff bring copies as well. Okay, questions from the community and board members. So the first question was an update on the proposed city landfill at Makakilo Hills. I think folks probably have heard in the news and things that the Department of Environmental Services is no longer focused on Makakilo Hills as a potential site for Oahu's next municipal landfill. Mayor Blangiardi has consistently maintained that he does not support locating another landfill on the west side of Oahu and communicated that position to Campbell Estates several weeks ago. The decision also follows the Honolulu City Council's choice not to include funding for the acquisition of the property in the fiscal year 27 budget. The administration will continue evaluating long-term solid waste disposal options, including working with the Hawaii State Legislature on potential amendments to Act 73. And Director Babcock from ENV stated that the city remains committed to identifying a responsible long-term solid waste solution for Honolulu. We're continuing active discussions with lawmakers and other key stakeholders as we evaluate all available options and determine the best path forward. There are no alternative sites have been identified at the current time, and discussions remain ongoing. The Blangiardi administration is focused on finding a solution that meets environmental standards, protects Oahu's drinking water, important as we just talked about, and the aquifers, serves the needs of residents, and supports the city's long-term waste management goals. In the meantime, the city will continue to pursue waste reduction, recycling, and emerging technologies, but a municipal landfill is a necessary component of our solid waste system. And it's essential that we find a responsible long-term solution. So that's it on the landfill. I know there were concerns from this board in the past. I'll pause. Any questions on the landfill? Any follow-up?
That's a great place to pause.
Okay.
It's like, okay, board and community. Did we get the appropriate response from the mayor? Yes, he followed through on the resolution that we passed that the community member said, just reminding him of his promise to not have it on the west side.
Yeah.
And yes, mahalo. Okay,
He is very committed to that.
awesome.
And also finding a solution, because we do need a solution for our rubbish as well. So, okay, I will move on then.
Okay, well, no, hold on. We got
with other
questions. People are
questions?
raising their hands
Okay.
already.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
Okay,
That's
from the
fine.
community, come on down. If you have questions, come onto the microphone so we can get it done. As I understand it, we have 13 different homework assignments to get through tonight from the mayor.
Mm-hmm. I have water, so I'm good. So landfill questions first.
So,
Landfill, I want to say thank you because everybody in Makakilo did not want that, but we did not want you to keep dumping on us. But I do still have a problem that you did promise years ago. What happened to Makakilo completion? We had the money. It got passed on 3 times. Why aren't you helping us do that to make it safe? Now is very important. The hurricane season is going to be the worst. And I worked during the Hurricane Iniki. I was driving a forklift and I was loading trucks and taking safety stuff all over the island. I know how bad it was. I don't know if some of you know it, but Hawaii was the worst. Where I worked was with the military, with the exchange, Navy exchange manager, and I was a lucky one that got shoved everywhere because I knew how to handle it. I lived on a farm and knew how to handle equipment. But the problem is we need the Makakilo extension. It shouldn't be dropped. What can you do to get it back on and make it happen? People want to know. If I got to get people involved, I will get people involved. But we need a promise that was made several years ago to make it safe. We need it to happen.
So mahalo, Auntie, for bringing up the valid
you.
concern and question, and it is part of the homework assignment, so we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yep.
So let's not have the conversation about Makakilo Drive extension at this time. Let's focus on landfills, waste management, Opala. Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Everybody's just looking happy. Okay, Board Member Mick Farrar, go right ahead.
Since she kind of brought it up, but this isn't about the completion of Makakilo Drive. Our resolution was one of the ones that kind of made it happen where we aren't getting.
Is this about Makakilo Drive extension? Okay.
Nope, it's about resolutions. And just recently, I read something from one of our representatives that kind of downplayed our resolutions because our neighborhood board, quote, doesn't have any power. It doesn't have any consequence to it. And I just wanted to kind of comment that our resolutions sometimes do have some power, and the neighborhood board does have some power. And the neighborhood board is elected by our citizenry, our constituents, who are also the constituents of our elected officials in our House and Senate. Anyway, I wanted to kind of put that out there because I just read that and it kind of didn't sit well with me. Thank you.
So mahalo, Board Member Mick, for raising up that. So as I see it as the chair, is that our resolutions allow us to amplify the voices that we're hearing in the community on common sense, on the ground neighborhood solutions for systemic problems. Like we're just saying, one, we identify what's not working, and then two, we provide a solution. And if you got a better one, great. But if you don't have any alternative solution, implement the one we're proposing, please. It's like, and it makes everybody's job easier. And in this case, seems like the resolution, which really was an amplification of the history, the memory, the desires of West Oahu residents for generations being dumped on, saying, no, because you said, you made the promise. This is an environmental justice, a social justice, an environmental justice issue. So good job, community. Everybody give yourself a round of applause. We got someone online regarding the landfill waste management situation. Uncle Frank Ganadio, go right ahead.
Yes, I'd just suggest that Ms. Seisman bring back to the mayor the need to look into plasma arc gasification. She talked about new technology, and I believe it's been brushed off by the city pretty much. I just suggest she take another look at it. Thank you.
Mahalo, Uncle Frank, for that. And hopefully Deputy Director Zeisman can pass it on to both the mayor's office and to the newly formed or to be created end landfill task force or that was established, right? Council resolution. And there is also a state task force or committee that's being created out of a Senate resolution on waste management, all because of efforts of community members around the room and online. So people are recognizing that Opala is an issue and we got to make sure that we treat it fairly well and becomes a resource for our community and make sure everybody is taken care of and no one's left behind when we're treating our Opala. Okay. Now let's move forward to the next homework assignment. Go right ahead.
Okay.
Deputy Zeisman, back to you.
Okay. Next, there's a number of things related to Makakilo Drive. So thank you to the community member who brought it up. So I will jump in. We'll do all things Makakilo Drive and then take, if there's further follow-up or questions, I'm happy to take them then. So the first question was for the police department. It was a request for a report on emergency egress and evacuation from Makakilo through a private property that Board Member Bossler had raised with HPD, I think, in the past. And so HPD's response is that any access through private property would require a memorandum of understanding between the city, the state, and landowners, and that would fall under the purview of the Department of Emergency Management, not HPD, it sounds like. So for Member Bossler, who raised that. If you want, I can follow up with Department of Emergency Management to see if that is an MOU that is able to be put in place, but it was not answered for this month because the question went to HPD.
Awesome.
So that is
Please-
the first
please
thing.
do so. Yep, that would be
Follow
great.
up. Okay, that's fine. Yep. Okay, happy to do so. On Makakilo Drive is on speed enforcement, and it was again to HPD if it was possible to have speed trailers or speed enforcement. And HPD noted that District 8, which includes the community policing team, regularly performs high visibility enforcement in the area of Makakilo Drive. The district currently has one speed indicator trailer that is in very high demand by numerous communities within the district, and they rotate it throughout to address speeding concerns. So it sounds like they do put the speed trailer on Makakilo Drive, but only occasionally because it needs to rotate throughout the district. Okay. Next on Makakilo Drive, there was a question that on May 6th, 2026, 2 people were injured after a crash near Makakilo Drive and Kinohi Place. And there was a news article cited and a question about the cause of the crash. The police just noted that the cause of the accident was not due to speeding, but did not let me know what the cause was. Okay. Next up are questions regarding the Makakilo Drive extension project. Let's see, and congestion and safety issues. So Transportation Services noted that the city is focusing its efforts on the Department of Emergency Management's development of an emergency access road connecting Makakilo Drive to Kualakai Parkway. And maybe that is the access road, which others were, maybe that's a question for you all. Is that the access road to which you guys were inquiring? Would be my question. But DTS did note that Makakilo Drive extension project is not currently being pursued. But there is the development of an emergency access road connecting Makakilo Drive to Kualakai Parkway is what they are currently pursuing. Okay. Next questions were regarding Makakilo traffic and roadway design. So questions around how can the city address the traffic, lack of street parking, etc. Concerns about the bike lane, and yes, questions about the bike lane. So first, DTS stated they do not have plans to implement traffic engineering measures along Panana Street near Maukalani Elementary School. And as previously indicated, the road diet, which includes bike lanes, there was a question around how would you plan a bike lane if it's so steep? They said the bike lane is planned along the portion of Makakilo Drive between Palahia and Alaho'i Street where the grade flattens out. So the bike lane is planned in a flatter graded area. The next question for DTS was around the traffic study and the number of vehicles and bicycles using Makakilo Drive, as well as some questions about bus ridership. So DTS, Spartan Transportation Services, does not have any data relating to bicycles. However, the most recent vehicle count indicates that Makakilo Drive roughly carries 25,000 plus vehicles daily below Pala'ilai Street and approximately 7,500 vehicles daily beyond Palahia Street. Okay. I'll make sure I get all the Makakilo Drive questions in. I believe that's all I have on Makakilo Drive. Are there questions or further follow-up?
Yes, we
Okay.
and we will start with
Happy to.
member Carol England first, followed by Transportation Chair McFerra.
Last month, I asked about what would it take for Makakilo Extension to get federal funds. Did you pursue that question at all?
Yeah, that question is on here and there was no response provided to me either. I honestly don't know. I will try again to follow up on that.
Ma'am, who are you asking this question to? I'm just curious.
The question goes to DTS leadership and sometimes their public information officer. So I will follow up directly with the DTS on what needs to happen to secure federal funding.
Thank you.
Mahalo. Now let's go to McFerra, our Transportation Chair.
Hi there. It seems obvious that this mayor has decided to kick this can down the road, just like the last administration did. This is not an extension of Makakilo Drive. It keeps getting called an extension. it's a completion. And this project has been in existence going on 40 years now. And it's exhibiting the failure of leadership at the city level of being able to complete a project that was planned and that is in progress, and that we have everything we need but the funding to complete it. So what we need is, if they're not going to pursue it, we need something saying, Makakilo, we're not going to do this. We're not going to complete this project. We're going to drop the ball permanently. And then that way we don't have to keep hoping that it's going to get done. There's been $16 million spent in less than 10 years on getting redesign of the drive. There's been the environmental study. There's absolutely nothing at all that should make this stop. And all it is, and I've met with Mayor Rick and I met with Mr. Formsby. Mr. Formsby was the only one who has been with this project since he was the DTS director, and surprised when he came back from Washington, D.C., when he worked with Colleen Hanabusa, that it was not in fact completed. And this all goes back when the builder, D.R. Horton, was supposed to complete this as the houses got built, and somehow went back to the city council and put it off on them, and the city council assured that they would get this project done. So this is why we have the state stepping in and saying, well, city, since you say you're broke, and since you're trying to struggle to get a skyline system done, let us take it over and let's try to see what we can do to get the 20% that we need so that the feds can come up with the 80%. So if you can go back to Mayor Rick and tell him that the transportation chair of the Makakilo Neighborhood Board isn't buying what he's selling, and that if he wants to kick the can down the road, tell us he's kicking the can down the road, and that way we'll stop bothering him. And then we will take a look at the next person that wants to be mayor, and they won't be mayor unless they come back to us with some kind of promise. And that's where it's at. We keep going through this with all the mayors, and they say all this great stuff, and we're being lied to the same way we're being lied to by the developers. And so I'm going to stop pushing on this. It's not an extension. It's a project that they're in the middle of, that they can't seem to get it up. I mean, they can't seem to get it completed, and there's no excuse for it. So we're going to stop asking about it. And Mayor Rick, you have failed, and you're going to kick the can to the next administration, and we're going to hold the next administration's feet to the fire.
Mahalo for your comments, and I think expressing so eloquently the feelings and sentiments of many of us. It's not Deputy Director Zeisman's issue. Our community has just been promised and broken promise yet again. This is one of many with developments of this magnitude in our community. So having shared that, I think it'll be super helpful, Director Zeisman, to just ask them what are the obstacles that they're facing to get to the next step, like, which is relisting on the tip, if we understand it correctly from Uncle Frank and Nadia. Like, what is the next step that we need in order to secure the appropriate funding and get listed on the tip? If you can tell us that, I think that would be great.
Sure. How does one get on the tip? Because that did seem that committee, which is state and county folks together, is the
Right.
critical next step. So.
And we have Uncle Frank online that's wanting to share, and we'll recognize him to see if he has any more wisdom for us.
I just wanted to answer Member England's question. To get the federal funding, the project has to be on the Transportation Improvement Program. It qualifies for federal funding because it's a safety issue as well as a congestion management issue. And it's not a catch-22, as Director Morton claims. It's just a matter of getting the process done right. As for the emergency access, that's still to me a red herring trying to get us to divert our attention away from the completion of the drive. Thank you.
Mahalo, Uncle Frank, who's our liaison to the Citizen Advisory Committee on the Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization. So the people that are responsible for making the recommendation to the decision makers to put this project on the tip. Okay, let's go to now Dr. Amy Bosler. Go right ahead.
Chair, I have a question. I'm not sure if this is the appropriate time, but it's pertaining to this issue and it's addressed to Uncle Jimothy.
Yeah.
Okay. So at our last board meeting, Uncle Donadio had suggested that we, as a community, if we wanted this completion happening, we should organize and attend the AMPO policy board meeting. I've been watching it because there was one that we missed by a day last month, and now the new schedule just came up. And the next policy board meeting for AMPO is this coming Monday, the 29th, from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., 707 Richard Suite 200. I'm wondering, Uncle, is this still something that you believe we should pursue? Trying to get a large community gathering, going to this policy board meeting to respectfully and forcefully ask for the completion of our Makakilo Drive.
Yes, I was going to address that in my testimony here, but I will put on the chat room the website address for the policy board agenda. It is a Zoom capability, so you don't have to go. It is the tip is not on the agenda for 29 June. However, there's an item that says you can talk about anything. So anybody who's interested, just go ahead and add something. But the main thing is to try and get the policy board to address it directly. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll get that information up on our Makakilo-Kapolei-Honokai Hale website tonight. So anyone who's interested in helping us, you'll have access to the Zoom, hopefully the Zoom link, and then also the physical address if you'd like to go in person. Thank you.
Mahalo. So part of the homework, I think, given the new information from Uncle Frank and from Dr. Amy Bosler, Deputy Director Zeisman, is to see if the mayor would support placing the Makakilo completion project on the 2029 tip.
Got it.
Okay.
Yep.
Any
Will
other
do.
questions, comments, or concerns on the Makakilo Drive completion? Let's go to board member Sheila Medeiros and then community member right after.
I think the MOU, if I'm not mistaken, is with Council Member Tupola. I don't think it's with HPD. And that really needs to be signed because at any given time, we are already in fire season. We need an emergency egress like ASAP, like yesterday. So we've been asking about this MOU for a while now, and we're already at an impasse with the Makakilo extension completion. So that's not going to be done anytime soon, but we do need an emergency egress off that hill. And wherever this MOU is at, because I know I know there are several people that were working on it, and it's almost, if it's not signed already, it's close to it, and we just need to know because we need to start practicing how to get off that hill. We need rehearsals. We need to get the community involved because we don't want to be reactive. We want to be proactive. So this needs to get done and find out where exactly it's at. It's not with HPD. It's probably with Council Member Tupola.
Awesome. And in our community member next, come on down.
Okay, three things. First of all, I want to clarify something that I made a comment on the last time I attended this meeting, and it was about the bike lanes. I didn't say that we wanted one. It was planned for us. And several years ago, the community filled this room and a couple of other rooms standing outside saying, "Are you crazy?" Because they wanted to take the on-street parking off. Secondly, it was not a question that we wanted. It was some bicycle club from Hawaii High. Now, they suggested it and they put it on the plan. Third, that the space that they were going to use for the emergency access, and yes, it is a red herring. It's here, have a carrot. You can't have the whole salad. The emergency access is not going to work when you talk 25,000 people coming up from Eva and from the villages of Kapolei. So that emergency exit is not reliable. And we're talking about everyday people going to and from work and the emergency vehicles getting up that hill. And by the way, have you seen the monkey pod trees and how they overarch the beautifully the Makakilo Drive? All you need is a good hurricane and the fire department can't get there and the helicopters won't fly because there's a hurricane. So yes, we need the Makakilo extension. I'm sorry, I'm practical. I'm looking at those trees every time I go down that hill. And we're on the Master Association Board. We have 3,621 homes. That doesn't mean only 3,600 cars. We're talking 25,000. And that's only half the hill. And by the way, stop planning more buildings on some of the most arable, growable, it's called Shinosum. And we have the best agricultural land, the second best agricultural land in the world. And they want to put houses on it. And yeah, it's nice, but honestly, where are we going to get our food if suddenly there's a hurricane? So those are the things I would like to clarify. Stop building in the west side. We need our land to grow food. Give us our streets, take care of our trees, and no more bike paths.
Okay, mahalo, Auntie, for raising that question. Let's go back to board member Mick Ferrer.
Yeah, that MOU, from what I understood recently, is that it was a dead issue because the landowner that it was to be able to go through wasn't going to go for it. And we can't force them to go that way. Also, the street that goes through there is a very narrow street. With cars parked on each side, you can barely get an emergency vehicle through there, let alone 25,000 cars to go over and then down a dirt road. The one good thing that I can say about the trees on Makakilo Drive is that the wind has now taken them and pushed them in such a way that their roots are coming up through the street and are creating a traffic calming method because they're now speed bumps. I ride up and down that hill every day on a motorcycle and I'm about bucked off like a horse because now we got speed bumps that DTS didn't want to give us, but our beautiful trees have. Thank you, God. So we do have traffic calming in as much as we have roots coming through the street, but that other alternative, and I get it. The council member wasn't here maybe 10 years ago, but Kimberly Pine approached that, and I think before that, and it wouldn't work, and it still doesn't work. So what they need to do is, all they're asking for is the 20%. I mean, DTS, Roger over there says that, oh, it's going to be $200 million to build this. It's like, well, gosh, just think, 20% of that is less than what you paid to put the $98 million pedestrian bridge over Alamoana Boulevard, which I've been sitting at for hours at a time and nobody's using. Now, nobody's using it. Why don't we take it out the same way they took out 7 of our crosswalks on Makakilo Drive because we weren't using them. So, and they want to put another one of those monstrosities with public art up on top, I saw, over crossing the Alawai. So it's just one of these great big, middle fingers to the west side from town because they want to do everything for the tourists, which I understand. We have an opportunity with Amazon coming that we don't have to depend on tourism quite as much. That's also an issue for a few people, but it really gets to be ridiculous after a while that they really think we're that damn stupid, and that they can't build a damn road, they can't finish it, and we can't come up with the 20%, really? The federal government's willing to do 80%, and here we are sitting on our thumbs and can't come up with 20%. My open letter to elected officials was for that Amazon to come up with the 20%. If they want to get their variance on building up to 100 feet, when by law we came up with a 60-foot, we came up with 60 feet for a reason. Governor Wahi at one time said, we're not going to have anything out here in Second City that's more than 60 feet tall. And then we have somebody come out here as a trillionaire and says, oh, well, yeah, we don't need that. We need 100 feet. Well, if you want 100 feet, give me 1,400 linear feet of roadway down to a freeway so that we can get people out of there and we can create an off-ramp a mile before Makakilo Drive because of all the 900 houses going in across Walmart. That's going to back up, clear up the freeway. So, we've got people that are coming in that have the money. They can maybe pay to extend Skyline out to Campbell so that the people that are coming from town that are coming out to work for Amazon can get to work and back. I mean, there's solutions out there. It's just that we have an administration right now that is deaf and dumb. And I don't know if we just give up on them or we push even harder. But I got on this board 10 years ago because of this issue, just because of this issue. And I'm still here, fatter, balder, dumber, and we're still getting fed crap. I mean, we're like mushrooms. We're fed crap and kept in the dark. And something's got to give. Something's got to give. And I don't know if we got to make Mayor Rick a fool in public, but it just isn't cutting it anymore. And that's all I've got to say for now.
Mahalo very much for your commentary and for reemphasizing certain points that to help us in the conversation to situate what's going on. So what I've gathered from the current conversations, Deputy Director Zeisman, is that DTS is planning, from what you shared back, like we've asked other questions. We've asked like, have you considered alternatives like, like roundabouts or like actually putting in a speed radar stationary pole as opposed to this diet situation, which from the diagrams we've received are quite odd for the location and incline. So I think it would be super helpful if maybe DTS, if possible, if you can coordinate with us and them to be able to do a presentation of what they're planning the upgrades to be and addressing all of the community's concerns, because you being the gopher right now and then not having a map and not like, I see it because I've looked at it so many times, right? I see nods around the room, but the rest of the community is going like, what are they talking about? Which location, what sidewalk level, like what diet plan are they talking about? It's not conducive to good community feedback. So I think it'll be behoove us to have DTS come in and just share with us what are they thinking, planning, and then people can give them live and in-person commentary about their plans.
It's a great idea. I will request that they come and do a presentation.
Like after August, because border water supply coming in August.
Yes. So
September.
maybe September meeting. Yeah. Okay.
September, October is a good time for them. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Not to belabor the points, let's go to the next homework assignment.
Okay, next homework assignment. Also for DTS, I had a number of questions regarding Skyline and the bus. So first was a question on Skyline, which was about park and ride and improper parking at Skyline stations, or what's happening with that. And so two parts of that. HPD noted that officers have responded to parking complaints, but there is no signage for prohibited or improper parking. So no vehicles have been cited or towed. And then DTS is investigating the possibility of providing additional park and ride locations near other Skyline stations with private landowners and businesses, and also increasing the number of stalls near UH West Oahu. HPD it says they've not cited or towed vehicles at this point in time, except in the case of users parking in the kiss and ride, which is intended just for drop off and pickup, but they've been parking longer term in the kiss and ride. It's not intended for long term. So that's the only time that tickets have been given at this point. And then there was a question about ridership in April and May for the bus routes 92, 411, 414, and 461. And we can provide these for the minutes as well. The average daily weekday ridership for Route 92 in April was 66 boardings, in May 62 boardings. For Route 411 in April it was 349 boardings, and in May 326 boardings. For Route 414 in April it was 282 boardings, and in May 289 boardings. And for Route 461 in April, 189 boardings, and in May, 189 in April and 184 in May. And let's see, the next question for the bus and Skyline was a question about what the city has done to notify residents about the increase in fares on the bus and handy van and the monthly and annual pass. And they noted that DTS has been notifying riders of the new fare changes. New fare tables have been posted inside each bus. There are posters displayed at all Skyline stations. Announcements have been sent out via social media and the DTS and the bus website. And there was a press release that the media picked up on June 17th, again, regarding the fare increases. There was then a question about if Holo cards can be used on smartphones, and DTS noted that they are currently working on a program, this is in progress, to allow riders to pay regular adult fare by tapping their credit card, check card, or a mobile wallet. It should be implemented by early 2027. It sounds like, yes, you could do a tap to pay starting next year. Any questions on Skyline or the bus? I think that's all my
Okay,
Skyline and
questions,
bus.
comments, or concerns on Skyline and the bus? Okay, come on down, community members, line up and let's get it cracking. We're about an hour in to the mayor's report back.
Yeah. I'm happy to field as many questions as there are.
Hello, this is Pamela Summers. I ride the bus. I am a rider of the 46. I was hoping that was one of the ones you gave details on. The 46 was a blessing. It started when the Skyline first opened. It scared me because my bus was going to come every 10 minutes. I used to have to walk a mile to Walmart during the day. So when I saw it every 10 minutes, I was like, this is great, but I know it's not a lot of ridership. When the second part of the Skyline opened up, that's when they decided to change it. I think it's supposed to be every 20 minutes, but I haven't been able to catch one bus that was at the time that is scheduled. I'm not exaggerating. The last time I used the bus, I didn't even look at the schedule because that is so misleading. And I walked out and I got lucky and only waited 5 minutes instead of when I leave on schedule and sometime wait 20 or 30 minutes. So if someone could look at the, I mean, if it's gonna be every 20 minutes, I'm not gonna complain about that. But let it be every 20 minutes. I mean, it's ridiculous. When it was every 10 minutes, it was on schedule at least 80 to 90% of the time. Now it's almost 100% not on schedule. Every bus you look at is 20 minutes late, 10 minutes late. Like, you can't schedule connections with that type of schedule for the 46. So thank you, and if, you know, get some feedback on that.
Thank you. For Route 46, is that what you said?
The 46, plane 46.
46, okay. Okay.
Next community member, come on down.
Good evening. My name is Mike. I'm from Kapolei. I also ride the bus too. I know they took off the bus app and installed another one. And this new one is so like confusing because it tells you, oh, this route, you can go this route and on. With the bus app, you at the stop, you look at the stop number and right there, it's like, oh, bus is coming in like 5 minutes, and it shows where the bus is actually at. So, I mean, I'm hoping they'll bring that back. And like for the lady that was talking, that's why it's the problem. Because you could see where actually the bus was, is. And I think they should really fix the system better.
Mahalo. Thank you, community members and bus riders. You're echoing the concerns of my father, who told me that he's an avid bus user, and he too has experienced that the timing is off. The applications don't seem to be working and aligned. And we understand that they just updated the routes and there's some glitches and issues that have to be worked out. But if we could get a report back and see if anybody's actually working on the glitches.
I will check. I will check. I'm
That'll be
laughing.
super
I'm
helpful.
laughing because my own son was just complaining earlier today about the same thing, who is also an avid bus rider. So I will check.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns regarding the Skyline or the bus routes, which are super awesome because community members are using it, like, and we're running into problems from overuse at this point.
Yep.
And we're still not built out, family, right? Like,
Yep.
hey. Next homework assignment.
Okay, we'll close the door on the bus and Skyline and see if we can get the app fixed. Okay, next I had a number of questions regarding housing. So I'll tackle those next. There was a question about, let's see, the status of the Villages of Kapolei land transfer. Which is pending from the state to the city. And the answer was, it's pending. The parties continue to meet and negotiate the terms of the operation, maintenance, and dedication of the infrastructure from the state to the city. I was not given any timeline on that though. So I'm happy to try to follow up and see if there's additional time, but it sounds like that transaction is in progress. And I can try to get additional information regarding it. Let's see. That was on the Villages of Kapolei. Okay, the next question was about transit-oriented development affordable housing, and if the city was considering building transit-oriented affordable housing at existing Skyline stations. The Department of Housing and Land Management noted that the city is continuing to evaluate opportunities to support affordable housing development in proximity to high capacity transit infrastructure, including areas served by Skyline. Transit-oriented development is a central component of the strategic housing plan because it can increase housing opportunities near jobs, services, and transportation. And Department of Housing and Land Management is continuing to explore opportunities to maximize the use of city-owned lands for affordable housing and mixed-use development. Specific projects, development concerns, and timelines are varying by site and remain subject to planning, community engagement, environmental review, financing, entitlement, permitting, and procurement. So in short, I would say the answer is yes, the city is extensively looking at transit oriented development and affordable housing. They did not note any specific developments under consideration in the Kapolei Makakilo area. There was another question regarding city housing projects. What city housing projects are planned for Makakilo-Kapolei, including Kapolei Parkway lots 2 to 5? And will those projects include HOAs or condo associations? So DHLM, Department of Housing and Land Management, noted that the city currently has several affordable housing initiatives underway in the West Oahu area, including the Parkway Village at Kapolei, which is 401 units, and the planned redevelopment of Kapolei Parkway lots 2 to 5. In December 2025, the city selected a preferred negotiating partner for the redevelopment of approximately 14 acres of city-owned land known as Kapolei Parkway's lots 2 to 5. The site is envisioned as a transit-oriented affordable rental housing community and could potentially support approximately 750 affordable rental units. The city and Kobayashi Group, who is the negotiating partner, are currently negotiating the terms of a development agreement and long-term ground lease, and the project details remain subject to further planning, engagement, environmental review, etc. The project is currently being planned as an affordable rental community on city-owned land, and it is not anticipated to include any kind of homeowner association or condominium association. So any future project details will be determined through the development and entitlement process. And then it was also noted that the city has record of 3 housing projects reviewed under the 201H program in the Makakilo-Kapolei area since 2020. So first being Kapolei Parkway lots 6 and 7, 2 Lewili Kapolei, and 3, which is under review, Kapolei Parkway's lots 2 to 5. Of these, only Lewili Kapolei project, which consists of 72 for sale units, has a condo association. The other 2 projects consist entirely of rental units and are or will be managed by a property manager, not an HOA or a condo association. I think that's all I have on housing. Any questions on housing, affordable housing?
Okay, questions, comments, concerns on the affordable housing intake? Okay, come on down.
Hi, Leticia Hernandez, Villages of Kapolei. I guess I just wanted to clarify the question that I had brought up was, what does the city plan on doing when they're assuming the land transfer, being that it is already noted that there will be a deficit? When HHFDC closed out their 2025 annual report, they had estimated that it would be upwards of $100+ million, and we're only negotiating for $60 million. So what is going to happen to that deficit? Is there, like, what plan does the city have? I know they have mentioned pulling funds from the capital improvement project. However, that does take time. And what I was requesting is that if we try to be proactive and request that there is clauses or contingencies that we could forego to expedite the process to ensure that whatever is being facilitated for that month or that year actually gets completed and it doesn't continue to roll over to the next month or the next year and wait for the payouts to come out, just to be able to make sure that we are actually being given what was promised and what was paid for through our tax revenues 30+ years. Thank you.
You got that, Deputy Director
Yeah,
Zeisman?
I got it. Yeah.
Awesome. For those that are new to it, it's the fact that the villages of Kapolei residents were paying city taxes, and the city were not actually doing property improvements because it was still under the master plan of HHFDC, because that was not completely transferred over to the city. So we got improvements for everywhere else on the island that we may travel, but not actually in the villages. Okay, housing developments, the questions for the, okay. Next on the homework assignment.
Okay. Next is a follow-up on the city's current position on funding for the Office of Economic Revitalization, which you did pass a resolution for in support of full funding. So Mayor Blangiardi has communicated to the council requesting full funding for the Office of Economic Revitalization. The city council passed the budget as is, and yesterday the mayor did issue a veto of that, restoring funding for the Office of Economic Revitalization. And the city council is looking to likely they're scheduled to discuss an override of the veto on July 8th. So that is the update there. Any questions on Office of Economic Revitalization?
So regarding the funding issue, so when would be appropriate to engage with the council regarding our advocacy position, like for full funding?
Anytime between now and July 8th. They are scheduled for I can't remember the time, but they're scheduled to meet on July 8th.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, housing we covered. Almost done, folks. Political follow-up on political campaign and other signs. Another follow-up, if a sign is placed on private property without permission, who should the resident report to and what recourse is available to them? So the question on private property, and then also if a sign is placed on public property, what process the city uses. So in both those situations. So it was noted that if a sign is placed on private property without the property owner's permission, the property owner should contact the individual organization or campaign responsible for the sign and request it be removed, or they can remove the sign themselves. If the sign is placed on city streets or sidewalks, residents may report this sign to Department of Planning and Permitting. It says DPP does not regulate political campaign signs, but political candidates and campaign representatives are typically requested to voluntarily remove signs placed on public property when they're determined to be unauthorized. So if it's private, the property owner may take it down themselves or request that whomever put the sign up take it down. If it's on public property, it can be reported to Department of Planning and Permitting to be removed. And I believe that might be the end. There was another question about the Office of Climate Change, Sustainability and Resilience, asking just for more information about what that office does, but that office did not get back to me today. So I will follow up with them again for the next meeting.
Any questions, comments, or concerns on the last segment on signage? Okay, come on down.
PCA, Public Community Association, we don't allow signs because it's in our DCCRs that we are in through our fiduciary duties. But my question is, planning and permitting, are you saying where you get your permits for buildings and that is taking care of this? Is that what I'm understanding you're saying?
If
Is
it's
that-
on public property and you don't think it's properly should be on that public property, you can report it to DPP.
I'm gonna check that out tomorrow because their hands are pretty full just trying to get the permits out and take care of all these problems. I think that's something they shouldn't be involved in. I mean, that's a little bit asking too much. They're so backlogged right now. I could tell you there was a problem where someone stole a trailer and they left it up there past the Makakilo Community Center, and it has been torn apart by whoever, I don't know what parts or whatever. I took pictures, reported it, did it the way you're supposed to turn it in, and they're so backlogged. It might be, it's been 3 months, but it might be another 3 months just to move a broken down jet ski that's there, and nothing's being done. And I'm hearing calls all the time, and I said, and they said, you can't call again, you're the same person. I said, well, I'm getting calls every day. Maybe I should call you at 2 or 3 in the morning or call you at 6 or 7. I'm getting all these calls. And I said, so I don't think that's the way we should do it. I think maybe we could find out by whoever it is, maybe we can call whoever the party is, look it up and see. But I was trying to get hold of him, and I couldn't get hold of the person. That was the mayor had one thing up, but I don't know how to get hold of him, but I'm going to find out. But I try to call the parties to tell them courtesy, because the signs, I told them, do not touch them or damage them or whatever. Get hold of the party, ask them to take it, and that's what they're supposed to do. But one told me that they buy the signs. I never knew they bought signs before. The one told me the mayor had them buy the sign. I guess it's their problem. I don't know, but if you have a solution how to do it, but it's not with building and permitting, that'll never get done. I can tell you. Thank you.
Mahalo for the commentary and recognition that one of the city departments is overburdened, overworked, understaffed, and underpaid, and with systems that need to be updated and rotated through multiple leadership positions at the head of the department. So regarding that, if I can recall, the best practices that we've heard so far in the community forum regarding campaign signage is one, if you can, just call the candidate or the candidate's team and ask them to remove it if you're looking to remove it. The other we've heard is to call our committee member extraordinaire, Thad Sprague, and he didn't give his phone number, but he gave his email, which is neighborhoodboard34@thad.com, because he's on the beautification committee and he's worked with many people on signage issues in our community. So not just campaign signs, but little league signs, yard signs for yard sales, garage sales, for potlucks and parties or graduation. So that has all of the numbers for all of the different entities, including Board of Water Supply, HECO, and all of the rest for where signage might be not appropriately handled. Okay, so that's the best practices that we've come up with as a community. And now we got our answer from the city, which is DPP is the official contact people to get signage down. Good luck.
Only on public land, Chair.
Only on public lands. Yes, good luck. Okay. Any final questions, comments, or concerns for Deputy Director Zeisman? Okay, going to Sheila Madeiras. Go right ahead.
Thank you for your update. There was one thing that was missing on your homework assignment, and that was the ADA sidewalk violation that I had asked for some type of planning schedule. When was the plan going to be completed? When are they going to pour cement? When? These are the things that we should be giving the constituency updates on. And this is a 17-year-old problem that should have been resolved a long time ago. And we are doing a disservice by continuing to kick it down the road. And this whole kicking down the road needs to stop. Either you keep your promise or don't make any promises. So, but for this is really important because it is a federal violation for this sidewalk, and there's only 9 inches of sidewalk, and anyone in a wheelchair or any type of strollers can't pass through. So
Yep.
I
Let,
really
let,
would like a timeline.
I will follow up. They had told me they would let me know when they had a timeline, and I haven't heard back yet, but I will follow up again with them to see if they might have a timeline now.
Okay, and with that, we have no more comments, questions, or concerns for the mayor's office. And our gratitude to you, Deputy Director Zeisman, for taking on all of that. And for those that are new to the forum, the reason why we had so many questions is because of the recent Kona lows. So the administration's been focused on other things while community continue to have questions on our issues. So that's why we spent an hour and a half hearing an update from the mayor's office. So
thank you all.
mahalo nui loa. Yay! Now let's go to the Hawaii Department of Transportation if they are online. Recognizing that they usually come like semi-annually, we still have them on the agenda. Okay. Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Not hearing them. We're making good time. Now let's go to our AMPO representative, Uncle Frank Ganadio, for the Citizens
Yes,
Advisory
Mr.
Board.
Chair, I'll deviate quite a bit from the report I previously submitted because of the city discussion. At the Citizen Advisory Committee meeting in June, the OMPO Executive Director, Mark Garrity, talked about outreach efforts in Waikiki and announced the policy board meeting. We've covered that. I've already placed the web address in the chat room. The policy board agenda did mention that Director Garrity will retire at the end of 2026, and a search will be made for a successor. At the CAC, Molly Greenhill of OMPO covered a draft tip revision 9 that removed one project and added 9, one of which is to collect bicycle and pedestrian data. Tonight was the first I heard about 25,000 vehicles on Makakilo Drive. I had asked at the CAC about getting screen line count data on the drive between H1 and the first traffic signal on a business day, and was told that the request should be made by Council Member Andrea Topola to the Department of Transportation Services. I made that request to Ms. Topola. Regarding what Chair Ferrara brought up about extending the skyline, there's a recent Civil Beat article on just that, extending the skyline past what the current plan is, with an enormous amount of money involved. I would like to mention here that the best investment the city could make right now is about $35 million in the American invented magnetic levitation system. We could extend the skyline and save billions of dollars just by doing that. And I think I've said enough for tonight. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mahalo, thank you very much, Uncle Frank, for the report. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Let's go to Dr. Amy Bosler. Go right ahead.
Just one comment, Uncle. I sent you an email just so you have my contact. If you would please provide us with the Zoom link or information on how our community members can attend the AMPO Policy Board meeting on Monday, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
I have it on the chat room. If you can just check it.
Okay.
See the chat.
So, Uncle Frank, regarding the policy meeting that's coming up that we're mobilizing people and community members to attend, what is the ask recommendation? What to the ample board? What should the community be asking them for?
They don't want to discuss it, and we've never had enough political clout on the board. That's why they just brush it off. I think just going in and saying, why don't you people put the Makakilo Drive project on your agenda so somebody can really submit testimony. I don't know if we'll be able to do anything on Monday. Just bring it up and let them know.
So what, if I'm hearing you correctly, that you're saying that the next step for our advocacy from our community is to request that the Makakilo Drive completion project be put on the agenda for consideration or placement on the transportation improvement project or the TIP.
Roger that.
Okay, so if that's the case, the chair at this time would like to ask the board by a 2/3 majority to add to the agenda, taking an action that our formal request from the neighborhood board will be to ask AMPO to put on its agenda the Makakilo Drive completion project for consideration on the TIP. It's been moved by Hale, seconded by Amy Bosler. Is there any discussion from the community? So we're taking two procedural steps. One, we got to put it on the agenda, and then two, we're going to take a vote on it if it passes. Any public testimony on putting it on the agenda? Okay. Okay, hearing none. Any discussion from the board? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say aole. Any abstentions say kanalua. Hearing none, chair calls it unanimous. So now it's on the agenda for us to take a formal position to ask AMPO to place Makakilo Drive completion on their agenda for TIP consideration so that we can appropriately advocate and communicate with the community members to have this serious conversation with them. Okay. Is there a motion? It's been moved by Carol England, seconded by Mike Ferreira. Any public testimony? Hearing none, public testimony closed. Any discussion? Hearing none, discussion is closed. Any objection? Hearing no objection, the chair calls it unanimous. Good job, everybody. Okay, now let's thank you very much, Frank, for your good work and diligence. And we will take our next advocacy step, which is to ask their board to simply put it on the agenda. Now we get to the presentations of the evening. Presentations for the evening. We have two presentations, but one is an old presentation from Vice Chair of the Neighborhood Commission, Larry Verre. But it's an outstanding presentation. If he's available tonight, then he'll do the presentation. If not, then we'll continue to have it on the docket until they get here. Seeing not, Vice Chair is not here, so we have one presentation this evening from the City Grows program. So let's welcome up to the microphone, City and County Honolulu Refuse Division. Mahalo nui loa for being here with us. Aloha.
I don't know if you can hear me. How do I? Mahalo, Chair. Yeah, my lips are not coming on top of this. I'm so sorry. I love you guys, but I don't love people that much. Yeah, well, also I have mo'opuna, so I keep my distance. So mahalo, Chair, mahalo the board, and the communities of Makakilo, Kapolei, and Honokai Hale. My name is Lena Alamahi. I am the acting branch chief for recycling. I'm with the City and County Department of Environmental Services for the recycling branch, refuse division. I get paid to talk trash. I do it very well. I do it very well. I know there's a lot of people on the agenda, so I'm going to want to honor everybody's time, and I'm just going to go through this fast because a lot of this you might have heard of online or through the news. We're just bringing it to this community because really we're just doing an overview of the upcoming changes to curbside collection. Sorry, and I'm going to read because I follow and I will go off topic and we're going to be here all night and yeah. So we call this program Grow. Thank you. And let me just start with a fact. So each year, Oahu homes generate 60,000 tons of residential food waste each year. And I was kind of looking for some statistics. And in 2025, Hawaii Food Bank gave us statistics of 1 in 3 Hawaii homes suffer or are dealing with food insecurity. So those are really tough stats to hear. It's wild. Okay. Our mission really is to make sure that our communities recognize that this is a resource. It's not just waste. It's not just opala. And instead of sending this material to the landfill, we really want to encompass it and put it into our composting efforts. So that is why we're asking everyone to place food scraps and food waste into the green bins. So this program also helps support our city goal of achieving 95% landfill diversion by 2030. I'm going to be honest, on great days, we're almost at 90% and have been for a little bit of time. On days when we have storms like the Konalo, you know, we're kind of close to 70, 78. So it is something we're constantly working at. Okay. Next slide. Thank you. The main change is that residents will now be able to place food scraps and wasted food into their green compost carts, along with their regular green waste. So the pilot program will be that on April 1st with households in Waipahu, Nana, Puli, Hawaii Kai or Maunalua, Mililani, Kailua, and Kalihi. They are currently the ones who are on the automated curbside system, the 3-cart system, right? So Grow, though, is going to be implemented island-wide starting October 1st. But that doesn't mean you have to wait until October 1st. It just means that we, recycling specialists or the recycling department, are only collecting data in those pilot areas. We are highly encouraging people to start now, figure out how this will work in your lifestyle. Yeah, start diverting because honestly, the food is like a charged battery in compost. We want that stuff in there. Okay. Next slide. Sorry. So what can go in the green compost carts? Like the regular stuff. Grass clippings, leaves, branches, hedges, palm fronds, natural Christmas trees. The easy stuff. I want everyone to commit to putting fruits and vegetables. That's like the easiest thing you can put in there, right? There are some other things that you might have to think about. Bread, pasta, rice, beans, all that kind of stuff. And then there's the ones that everybody starts to groan at when I say out loud. Meat, seafood, poultry, bones. All of that stuff can go in your green compost carts. But again, you want to make sure that you're doing it in a way that works with your lifestyle. If you're eating a lot of soup, I don't want that liquid stuff in there, but you can put some stuff in, okay? We really want leftover food, table scraps, and especially put in coffee grounds, tea leaves, and baking soda because they help to take that smell, that pilo away. Okay, next slide. Sorry, I'm going super off topic because, again, I said I vala out, so that's why I have to look at my script one more time. Okay, things that cannot go in the compost carts, please do not put liquids in there. We want you to absorb it. That includes oils, fats, and grease, things like that. We don't want no paper products, plastic, metals. You have to remember, compost is food for plants. And guess what? The plants are feeding us. So why would you put these type of things inside of your body, right? Again, we're talking about plastics, metal, glass. We don't want food, pet waste in there. We don't want coffee cups or any of the things that say they're compostable. They are good for the environment, but right now we're not licensed to put those type of things into the compost. And again, do you really want that kind of stuff in your food systems? I don't think so. We're lucky that we've partnered with a really great city contractor and partner, Hawaiian Earth Recycling. They're able to help us. Next slide. And they have a lot of information on this. For our residents, it's really easy to participate. Again, you can collect your scraps however you want. We recommend that you freeze it if that's available. I'm going to be honest with you, you're going to figure out how much food you are really wasting within the first month. And it may or may not shock you. Sometimes you'll be like, yes, I'm so cool. And other times you're going to be like, oh, wow, we're not doing so well. Okay. You have to be very intentional about this. We are talking about not just what you're wasting in your home. We're talking about putting this stuff in the landfill or in H-Power. So I want everybody to be very conscious and intentional about what they're doing with these things. First thing to do with food that you don't want is to feed people. That's like the number one paramount thing. Second thing is we would want you to feed animals because animals can use it, right? After that, of course, there's going to be food that you cannot, it's going to die on the plant or it went bad. Then we want you to compost it. We want to take away as much stuff away from H-Power and the landfill as possible. Okay, yeah, I can feel myself going off topic. I'm so sorry. Again, for those of you who prefer to drop off, slide, you can do that at Hawaiian Earth Recycling's facility in Wahiawa. They are on Virginia Drive, a little bit past our convenience center, totally free. You can self-drop as long as you are a resident, no commercial vehicles. You can do it up to 2 times. Especially in this area, it's accessible. It might be slightly out of the way, but for example, if you have a big party, you have a lot of stuff, hey, why not take it over there, right? The other thing that I do want to note again about licensing, because we do get licensed by the department's State of Hawaii Department of Health. We cannot accept food at our convenience centers, like here in Kapolei and stuff like that, or at the transfer stations. But we can accept the green waste. Okay, next slide. All right. Again, I just want to make sure we are all being intentional about our choices. This program is very important because, again, as I said, compost feeds plants, plants feed us, and all of the curbside collected material is processed into compost, which is then going to be used by homeowners, landscapers, agricultural people, and farmers. Mahi'ai, very important. The city is also monitoring participation to see how many people are contaminating, meaning they're putting trash in there. And we're giving feedback. That's right, we're doing that at 4 in the morning, flipping lids and taking a look to see what you're putting in there or what maybe your neighbors are putting in there and giving them like feedback, like that's great, or you might need to change that a little bit. Next slide. If you need additional information, you can definitely visit any of our social media platforms, our website. We do outreach, we're at events, we always talk about it. You can also visit the website for Hawaiian Earth Recycling because they have a lot of really good, great information there. Also, I forgot to note that they do have free mulch. So if you do visit them in their Wahiawa location, you can go ahead and grab yourself some free mulch. And next slide. And I just wanted to say thank you for your time and attention. Together, we can help reduce waste and increase composting, create more sustainable future for Hawaii. I do want to yield now, and I'm very happy to entertain any questions.
Mahalo nui loa for the presentation. We really appreciate you all coming out and doing this, I feel like long overdue program for the city. So let's go with question, comments, or concerns from the board members, starting with member Moon Kahele.
Thank you, Ms. Mahi, for a very exciting presentation about trash. I had the privilege of doing a tour de trash with your people. They're supposed to have another one soon.
If you saw all of the signs outside, we actually have it tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Normally, we only have one bus of about 50 people, but if you guys recall at one of the previous meetings, this was a packed house. So we got a lot of people from this area. I'm happy to say sign up for our Twitter Trash tomorrow.
Thank you. Another thing is when you have food scraps, what type of package, brown bag, is that good? Or I know plastic's not good in the green.
Yeah.
So what do you recommend us putting the food scraps in?
That is a great question. And also thank you for asking that. I forgot to mention. We actually just want things that grow inside there. So if it, including the food, we do not want any kind of packaging. I don't want any kind of bags, because we want a really good quality compost. No bags, even paper, because I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes I'm looking at a paper bag, I'm not sure which one has PFAS and which one is good for the environment. And just to simplify it for everybody, we said no bags at all. Do we find it? Oh, I have found so many interesting things in the list this last 3 months. But by and large, the people who are participating, they really are trying earnestly. And so we appreciate that a lot. Yeah, no bags, sorry.
Next question, comments or concerns from Dr. Amy Bosler. Go right ahead.
Thank you. I've been collecting my table scraps for years and feeding my own garden. And so I really appreciate this and I'm excited. And I do what you say. I feed my pets from my kitchen and then very little, well, then that goes into my garden. But I'm excited to have a place to put the meats and the bones and the fish because I don't always like that in my garden because it gets smelly and attracts a lot of flies. So that's coming to my question is, do you have any recommendations? Because if this is going to be a once a month pickup, how are you recommending we put it in our bins? I know you said freeze it if possible, but I don't have this. I don't know if I have the space for that. I'm wondering, would you recommend layering greens, greens, foods, or greens and foods and baking soda? Or because I'm worried about walking on the streets and just being engulfed with flies and smell.
These are really great questions. Also things that we normally bring up as part of our hacks, right? We do want you to layer the food in there with the green waste. The green waste does help to absorb not only smells, but any type of liquid or, like textures that may develop afterwards. As far as like pests goes, I'm going to be honest with you. We don't normally see flies unless the lid has been left open. Then yeah, unfortunately, we see a lot. I don't think the general public knows that if you're having issues with your lid, your wheels, or your carts, you just need to call us. We do it within 3 business days. Like we try and do it fast because that's our job. So if you call us and you report it, you email it to us, we send it to the yards. Usually in the next couple of days, the supervisor's coming out with their regular pickup truck to make those adjustments because, we don't want flies either, right? So yeah, what we found is layering is really good. I like to call it nesting where I put like kind of a bigger layer on the bottom just in case things fall down, and then kind of build. Henry, our former recycling branch chief, who's now a deputy director, second deputy director, he does bokashi at home. And so similar to you, he's not really putting proteins in. And that's what we do. We're like supporting people who are already out there composting. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest, for people, you're going to have to figure out how it works into your lifestyle, but try it now. And don't have nobody should have an excuse for not putting in veggies and fruits. That's like the easiest one. Just put it in.
I have one more question. You had said about if we're dropping off at the Wakua location, we can also get free mulch. I'm wondering, how often do you know is the mulch getting tested for CRBs? Because I don't want to bring those into my neighborhood, or we already have enough issues.
Yeah, so that is a hot topic, especially on this side of the island. And now that it's going into the rest of the other Wokupuni, sorry, we're a bilingual family, so sometimes I'm saying all these other words. So, yes, our partner, they work with the Department of Ag. They're licensed, they already have protocols. They've been doing it for several years now. You don't have to worry about some of that stuff. I mean, it's mulch, so, it's not like, yeah, perfect, but it is, I have a very high level of faith in the protocols they've set forth. Because they're on every island, right? They, at one point, were one of the only people who could send compost to the outer islands. So, yes. And we do have a representative here. If you have other questions, we'd be more than willing to address them.
Okay, next question, comments, or concerns from member Kara England.
Thank you again. I love this program, by the way. Just curious, have you, during this pilot program, has any problems shown up during this pilot program? Odors, pests, missed pickups, contamination, anything like that? Just
Yeah.
curious.
We've seen quite a few things. The general community has not had feedback from us for a while because we haven't been able to go through each neighborhood and look at everybody's trash. So now that we kind of had a protocol and a process for it, it is instantaneous what we're giving back. What we have seen, and it's not limited by neighborhoods, it is just certain homes are less responsible, and so their green waste or their recycling waste is full of trash. Like, if we were going to use a fancy term in our industry, we say contamination, but what it is just pure trash. And that's really sad because if there's too much trash in the trucks, that whole truck will get diverted and it won't go to composting. It'll end up at H Power. And we really don't want to do that. You're taking stuff and you want to put it back into the earth. Again, being very conscious about what you're doing.
Mahalo. Let's go to Vice Chair Michaela Lindstone.
Do you know when the first data report will come out?
So I don't know that we released it. I know internally we have been, to be honest. You're looking at the report maker. So I kind of know, and I've also been out in the field. So, I mean, we are seeing participation, and honestly, we're not digging through the containers because some people frankly put a lot in there. If we were going to dig in there, we might fall in because there's a lot of material in there. But we're seeing anywhere from nominal 1 gallon of food waste to way more than 2 gallons. I've been happy that this summer I'm seeing a lot of fruits and veggies in there. Some things that make me sad is occasionally I'll still see them in the packaging, meaning you just let it rot. You bought it, you let it rot at your house. So I'm kind of like, ooh, wow, what a waste. I mean, that's me. But again, somebody could have ate that, right? Or an animal couldn't eat that. So those are some of the things that we're seeing. And I forgot to mention, yeah, so the pickup is every other week. Unfortunately, we just don't have the manpower and staffing to do it each week like they do in other places. But the way that it's working out, we're getting a lot of people participating. So like exact numbers, I'm going to be honest, we come out there between 4 and 6 o'clock before the trucks come. So sometimes after we've gone through, people are putting out their carts when we're leaving. We can also see that half of the people who have green carts never put them out. So, that's kind of like a, why do those people have carts, right?
Well, I'll be curious to see the data just because composting is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And you get one fly in there, you get maggots, that's all we, you can't use that. You can't compost that at all. And it's just a ton of work. And, you know, there's that saying, culture eats strategy. And that is, you can have a good strategy, but if you don't work on the culture and changing the culture, the strategy is not going to work. And right now, it's much easier. Sorting cans and bottles and glass is much different than sorting food. And I think the public needs to know that. I wish that the city would look at the priorities and, you know, maybe all the funding that went, or the money that went to choosing Makaiva Hills went to your department would be much more impactful than all that money that went to that, just, you know, but there needs to be education. And I know I'm probably preaching to the choir, but it's hard. Like I do bokashi and I had to throw out some of my compost because it was too watery or a fly got in and maggot. So I'll be interested to see the data. Mahalo.
More than happy to send you kind of preliminarily what we have. I myself, the last numbers I got, we were somewhere in like 1,200 carts that we have gone through and looked at in every pilot area. So basically we go 30 to 40 carts per person per day that we're out there. I've only once encountered maggots and it wasn't on a compost cart. It was actually on somebody's trash cart that they had put out on a green day because their trash cart was just disgusting. But I haven't seen, I've seen ants galore, but it's also that time of the year where ants are looking for water, so they're out looking for sugar. Is it super scientific what we did? No, but I really tried to break down the data and I'd be more than happy to send you what I have.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns from board members? Hearing none, let's open it up to the community at large. Questions, comments, or concerns over the GROW program that's been rolling out by the City and County of Honolulu.
Hey, my name is Leslie Keating. I'm a resident. This question is about those of us who live in townhomes. I always feel like our trash needs are diverted to the private sector. And so we don't get even the regular recycling services that the city provides because we're forced to go into private contracts, at least in this area. I've heard that in town, there might be something the city does for people in town, but out here, it just hasn't been an option. And so not only do I want to regular recycle, but I would love a program like this. And I live in a townhome. Our garbage is picked up 3 times a week. The smell risk is going to be less than that. And that's for most townhome areas, that's the case. That's how often your garbage is picked up. So I guess I want to see, how is this going to come to our larger communities, which many of us live in?
Great question. I also live in a townhouse. This is just my Ainahana. I work in Kapolei, but I actually live in the moku of Waimanalo. So I live in East Honolulu and I drive about 75 miles a day to come to work round trip. So I'm not doing this because of my paycheck. I'm doing this because I feel like my job is very important and it aligns with me culturally. There are programs coming up for townhomes, some, not all, that I'm not in the right tax bracket to break here. But it is very promising, and we have really been working for a really long time for not only townhouses, but houses that have manual collection. For recycling specifically, we do have a recycling carts loaner program that we offer. It unfortunately can't be individual residents. We have to get permission from the AOAO and that kind of stuff. So take a look at our website. There's a very simple form to fill out and send it in with the AOAO's permission or homeowners association. And we work with a lot of different multi-unit dwellings, not just townhouses, but also larger. Yeah, hey, come talk to me.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, and the last is that what came to mind after Vice Chair spoke about changing the culture is the wondering I have is have you all yourself or with a partner organization created curriculum for K through 6? Because if we want to change these habits, right, it has to start with the keiki, because then the keiki will be the ones that's telling all the adults, no, no, can't put that over there because Pupuna told us, the teacher told us. So like, have you guys created that, or is that in the horizon, or do you need our support to kick that off the ground, or?
So we have been working on that for developing habits. I call them habits because I believe habits start with keiki and they bring it home. Also, in my many career, I was an elementary school teacher, so that's part of my background. We work with H2Y, Honolulu Theater for Youth, and every year we target this area specifically because unfortunately, you guys have had to bear a lot of the concerns with landfill and things like that. But we offer it for the whole island where we come into the schools and teach them about specifically right now doing the recycling and sorry, I've been up really early, so I'm like starting to crash, but just like how to prepare trash, right? So, and then we present it in music and stuff like that. The real reason for the pilot is also for us to figure out how are we going to change people's habits? How are we going to make this a new lifestyle for them? Because we have seen in other communities, not necessarily here, but also in different places that it's a process. For example, I was here when we rolled out bulky pilot, and it took people about 2 years to figure that out. People who are ma'a to being online and stuff like that, they got it like that. But other people who struggle with technology or phone calls, that was really hard for them. And so we had to teach them a new thing, but it took about 2 years. So what I'm saying is that island-wide, it's going to be a slow ramp up, but once people start doing it, it'll be easier. And yeah, we're planning different campaigns. We try different things, social media. We're trying to hit all of the demographics, right? But word of mouth, this is the reason why we come out here to give our heartfelt message, because we want people to talk about it. We want it to be conversations, whether you like it or don't like it, it doesn't matter. We need people to know that it's an option and that they can try to do it.
Let's go to member Kara England, our secretary.
This is off of what you just said about changing or developing habits. So I have to take some of the things off. I created this little chart. It's called the care card for this program. And it just got the information off of your webpage, but it just, I'm the chair for beautification. This kind of goes all along with beautification. So I can see, Chair, if it's okay, if I do like a PSA on our neighborhood board Facebook, and I'm going to clean this up because I thought you said you could use paper bags, but I have it here, so I'm going to cross that off, redo this, and talk to my neighbors. And I think that everyone here, if you're part of this program, if you love it, just have a conversation with your neighbors and just pass the information down.
Thank you. You're one of our super spreaders. You're somebody who spreads the info, so I love you.
Mahalo. Okay, the last wondering I have is not just townhomes, but commercial operations, industry, Waikiki, like how are they intersecting with this program? We're asking our community members for habit change. Are we asking the same thing of all of those operators down there?
So we actually started thinking about large food waste contributors years ago. So a lot of the industry specifically geared to hospitality are bringing their food waste to Sand Island. I'm going to be honest with you, I am not an expert in that. I just know that we've been doing anaerobic digestion there.
Right.
What we have at Hawaiian Earth Recycling is an Investo core. And I forgot to say, like, the whole reason why we're excited about it is normally it takes 12 to 24 months to make compost up there in a windrow. When we're putting the food in, we're supercharging it. Now we're down to like 6 months. That's crazy. That's amazing. And it's super dense and rich in nutrients. So that's why we're excited. But yes, we have already started that. That's been going for, I want to say a couple years, but also my memory's not so good. So it could actually be a little bit longer. But it was a conversation when I first joined, like maybe 9 years ago, and we made it happen.
Awesome. Last comments, last round for comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, I think it'll be great if you just let everybody know on Olelo and watching us Zoom now, like what's the contact information that you want everybody to contact?
So again, my name is Lei Mahi. I work with the recycling branch. You can email us at opala@honolulu.gov. That specifically goes to recycling and not any of the other services. Our general phone number is 768-3200, but you could call 768-3201 because we're #1 in your hearts. Actually, so the 01 specifically is for recycling, and there's 4 of us, so you'll get one of us to answer.
Okay, mahalo nui loa. Thank you for the excellent presentation, and let's continue to do this good work. Mahalo. At this time, presentations are pau, and now we're open to public input. Community members, you have 3 minutes to share your heart about anything going on in our community. So come on down, in person and online.
Hi, my name is Leslie Keating. I've been thinking a lot about the Amazon project, so I wanted to bring this to the table. It also has to do with everything we've been talking about. Makakilo extension, our need for water, our need for more resources to dispose of trash, all of these things. And then the Amazon project that's coming up, and it's more than just the Amazon project. I mean, I think that it'll be a welcome addition to the neighborhood for jobs and what it is. But I think we have to realize that this is a billion-trillion-dollar company, and we deserve, as communities, not just our community, but communities everywhere across the state, across the country, deserve to have some of that wealth come back to us for hosting these corporations in our communities. And so I want to make, this is a chance to make that stand and force them to give us what we need in our community. And we don't get many opportunities to do that, but this is one of those points. Thank you.
Mahalo, community member Leslie Keating. Okay, come on down.
Leticia Hernandez, Villages of Kapolei residents. I just wanted to bring to your guys' attention, we just recently got a letter in the mail today from our association regarding our annual meeting and electronic voting that's coming up. I know it did get passed in the bylaws last year at the annual membership meeting. However, since then, I've been to every single board meeting with the exception of executive sessions. And nowhere in there did they basically adopt a resolution that defines parameters and procedures of an electronic election, such as like vendor selection, identity authentication, data and security encryption, secrecy protocols, audit trails, testing windows, and I guess basically one major thing for me is the opt-in, opt-out option into electronic voting. Like I said, since the last time that I was here and the many times before that, it just seems like it's just a continued, let's push through, regardless of who stands in our way, what stands in our way. But I think a lot that is being overlooked is basically the 421J HRS that provides guidance or laws applicable to planned community associations. But when upon researching, a lot of that is just mail-in and in person. There's nothing that's defined under electronic voting. So I think if that's something that we could, I guess, ask whether, I'm not sure who it is, the state, city and county, to put that on topic, to make sure that we also include that, because it seems like a lot of things have shifted to electronic voting or just the electronic means. And that's basically all I have. Thank you.
Mahalo for raising the concern about villages of Kapolei upcoming elections and the electronic nature, and that there might not be sufficient legal safeguards regarding keeping those elections above board. Any other community members wishing to provide comments, questions, or concerns? Okay, let's go to Melanie June online.
Aloha board and community members. I'm Melanie. I'm Senator Gabbard's community liaison, and I just have two updates for everybody tonight. First, Senator's June newsletter is available with some community updates, and I'll be sure to drop that link into the chat. And second, I'd like to invite everyone to Senator Gabbard's Listen Story community meeting. It'll be this Saturday, June 27th from 9 to 10 a.m. at Kapolei High School Teachers Lounge. And this month's guest speaker will be Stephen Maduli Williams. He's the Senior Economic Development Manager with Amazon, and he'll provide new updates for the proposed Kapolei Fulfillment Center and answer any community questions. And there's a Zoom option also available for those who cannot attend in person. Just email our office to RSVP. And as always, please feel free to contact our office if we can be of any help. And I'm happy to take any questions back to the senator.
Mahalo. Any questions, comments, or concerns for Senator Gabbard's office? The only one that we had from this evening so far is if you could look into and potentially set up legislation for appropriate electronic safeguards on voting for HOAs or other planned communities. That would be super cool if you guys took that lead on that.
I can take that up with Senator. Thank you very much for the recommendation.
Great. Go right ahead, member.
Do we have a pig representative going to that Listen Story for our Amazon pig, since that's what it's going to be about, and it's going to be Amazon representative? Okay, I just want to make sure we had somebody.
Okay, so regarding the pig stuff, like there's a firewall between all board members and pig related material. So even if we knew, even if we were going, we can't tell you. Why we can't tell you, and we're volunteers on an advisory board, but state house representatives and senators can talk to each other behind closed doors against ethics requirements and against adjudicated judicial review, and still can do it. It's beyond me. But that's a great opportunity that Senator Gabbard is providing for our community members for the Listen Story this Saturday.
Thank you. We'd love to have any of you come if you'd like to.
Okay. With that, we also have Representative Diamond Garcia. If you would like to share some anao with us this evening, come on down.
Well, Chair, board members, thank you very much. I want to thank everyone for coming out last night to Honolulu Middle School for our Emergency Disaster Preparedness Town Hall meeting, joint town hall with Senator Lamasao of Ho'opili and Waipahu. Also want to thank everyone for their support and their turnout on our May 6th town hall, our joint town hall with Senator Gabbard and Councilwoman Tupola regarding the land transfer for VOCA held at Kapolei Elementary School. Just a few updates, following this session, the updated budget this year, we were able with cross-party, collaboration here in West Oahu to secure the funding for the construction of the East Kapolei Elementary School. So that is $146 million-ish. It was a big feat, but working with our senators across the aisle and our House members in West Oahu, I want to thank all of those who worked hard. Rep. Reyes, Oda, Senator Lamasal, Senator Gabbard, working with our office to make sure that this was a priority in both the House and Senate this year. As West Oahu continues to grow, we need our public infrastructure must keep up with population increase. So it's the first step. Second step after the elementary school is the East Kapolei High School, but that is about a 10-year look down the road. Second, culvert cleaning along Kualakai Parkway. The canal area, the culvert area adjacent to Kualakai Parkway, next to the element going down past Ho'opili, was filled with shrubs and trees for almost 3-4 years. Following the Kona low storm, we saw that when our public infrastructure is clogged up and not able to do what it's supposed to do, problems happen. So we contacted immediately Director Snitkin from DOT, and at the end of May, the entire culvert from the first rail station by UH West Oahu all the way down towards the Kroc Center has been completely cleared out. So they sent in construction backhoes and crews to clean those out. Update, the governor did release $500,000 in CIP funds for the East Kapolei TOD environmental impact study to further develop parcels around the Keonei Station near UH West Oahu. So we thank the governor's office for releasing that funds to make sure that this project is completed in a timely manner. And then lastly, this fall, our office is working in collaboration with the Health and Human Services Department federally to have a large community health event here in West Oahu. So stay tuned for that. We're still working out a date, but probably sometime in August or September. And the goal is to just focus on the healthiness of our community residents. Our West Oahu community has a high rates of Hawaiian homestead communities, and we have the largest rates of lifestyle diseases in the state, hypertension, diabetes, and many of these can be addressed through lifestyle changes and through public education, health education. So we have collaborated with Secretary Kennedy at HHS to bring some of those federal resources right to West Oahu, so stay tuned for that. That's pretty much it, and I'm open for any questions. Okay.
Mahalo nui loa to the representative for his report. Any comments, questions, or concerns from board members, community members? See, no, great work, and best to the health fair with the federal resources coming into Kapolei event. Okay. Now let's transition to board business. We got 30 minutes, gang. First up is approval of minutes from Wednesday, January 28th, February 25th, March 25th, April 22nd, and May 27th, 2026. The minutes and the drafts have been circulated. Are there any corrections? Hearing no corrections, or anyone wishing to publicly testify on the minutes adoption? Okay, check. Okay, so Dr. Amy Bosler's name is spelled wrong, and we will administratively correct that in the various minutes. Any other corrections? Yes, McFerrer. Okay. Title. We'll put in the appropriate titles where for the minutes. Any other corrections? Okay. Anyone wishing to publicly testify on the minutes? Because you can. Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion to adopt the slate of minutes? Okay, by Mick Ferreira, seconded by Dr. Amy Bosler. Anyone wishing to publicly testify on adopting the minutes? Hearing no public testimony. Any discussion, board members? Hearing no discussion. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say a'ole. Any abstentions say kanalua. Hearing none, chair calls it unanimous. Okay, very good. Yay. We got all of our minutes passed almost. We still have some special minutes that we got to deal with. First resolution on the docket is requesting the establishment of a Kapolei Homelessness Public Safety and Community Response Task Force. Is there a motion to adopt? Been moved by Nick Ferrero, second by Dr. Amy Bosler. Anyone wishing to publicly testify, recognizing that this resolution is really calling on the city and state governments to recognize that we have a growing homelessness issue in West Oahu across the entire region, but definitely impacting Kapolei City. And that we want to bring the appropriate governmental resources to figure out how to address this, because it has become almost a weekly, if not daily, concern for many of our residents. Anyone wishing to publicly testify? Seeing none, recognizing we've already taken positions supportive of this before. So we're just asking them to dedicate the appropriate personnel to help figure out a systemic solution, because the stuff that we've tried is not enough. Any discussion from the board? Hearing no discussion from the board. Any objection? Hearing no objection, chair calls it unanimous. Good job. Well, now let's go to the next resolution this evening, a resolution supporting a student internship or mentorship program at the neighborhood board. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution? Moved by Mikiela Lindstone, second by Moon Hale. Anyone wishing to publicly testify, come on down. To clarify that this resolution is really speaking to the fact that the neighborhood board is one of the greatest places that we have currently to exercise our skills in civic society and participate in democracy. We're all volunteers, and we might want to look at establishing a program to invite our younger citizens to participate. One of the leading issues that we have with lack of civic participation is the fact that young people don't think it's relevant to them, or they don't know that they can participate or how to participate. So this is basically calling on our community outreach committee in order to work with the NCO and the local schools to figure out how we can implement this. So basically we're giving work to ourselves, but we're letting everybody know that this is happening. And if you want to participate and help us make this program, work, you can come on down. But right now, our committee members on the outreach committee all agree to Owamo Diskuliana take on this responsibility under Dr. Amy Bosler's leadership. So yes, we want to see how we can make this work. So anyone wishing to publicly testify, come on down.
I really love this idea, and I just want a little input into it right away. If there was a way to work with our local schools, especially the high schools, they have to usually take a political science class their last senior, junior year, but make it one of their end of year projects where they come and present to the neighborhood board for a issue like, whether it's funding for a music program or anything that is in our community at all. Maybe they want a new skateboard park. But if we could just get the high schools, and I don't know, I think they need some more good projects, and I think coming here would be a great way to do that. But it would be time consuming for us. It might have to be a special meeting, because it would be great if that was a requirement.
And just to clarify, in the resolution, it speaks to high school age students, because we know that there's homeschoolers and others that are not in the public school system, in the private schools, so that it's just our younger people. Okay, any other public testimony? Well, he gets to speak in discussion. Public testimony going once, going twice, going 3 times, close. Okay, now opening to board discussion, go right ahead, board member Moon Hale.
I think this is a good opportunity for our leaders of tomorrow or today to be exposed. I think my concern is, as long as it's subject related, they're able to comprehend what we're discussing here. So maybe we need to contact their teacher or the school and let them know what our curriculum, I mean, the entire song list, so to speak. So they prepare themselves for it. And I think Dr. Bowser brought up a real good idea, and I'm for it. As long as we make sure our curriculum is student friendly, that's all.
Awesome. To speak to the concern that board member raised in the resolution, it does say we're working with the neighborhood commission to identify the appropriate sponsoring organizations. So we're all volunteers and they have limited capacity. So we're gonna need some outside organizations. Is it a school, a class, halal, humu, like anybody else? But we need to set up a process by which they can then vet appropriate candidates to participate in the program and then figure out the guidelines where they can sit in the meetings and maybe even have conversations with us without violating any of the appropriate laws and things that we're subscribed to, so that they can participate, not just as a public member, but as the neighborhood board team, and potentially. So, or they can explore like what was shared by member Leslie Keating earlier, that maybe this is a project with the school and they come and they present the hot topic that they're concerned about and they want feedback from the community, or they're advocating for some type of change. And then we give them a platform and a forum for them to share, and then they can get live and in-person feedback and we can encourage them. So right now, the resolution gives some safeguards, recognizing our limitations, but pretty much it goes on our community outreach committee to go and figure out what is possible and then bring a plan back. And then we will then adopt the plan or the specific recommendations from the committee. Any other discussion? Okay, so seeing no other discussion, Chair now goes to the vote. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, say ole. Any abstentions, say kanalua. Hearing none, Chair calls it unanimous. Good job. We are finished with all of our board business. First time in this year, actually, without having to push it over to the next meeting. Good job, everyone. Now we get to go to the last follow-up from the last meeting, which is on the action on the board positions for the Oahu Food Systems Plan. This was on the special meeting agenda. The board did, at that time, at the special meeting, instructed me to compile our resolutions that we've passed that may have some impact on the Oahu Food System Plan, and then to make appropriate mapping and system suggestions so that we can provide feedback to the city on the Oahu System Plan based off of things that our community has already discussed and planned. So that has been circulated. It is in the board packet, and there are some few paper copies here. So it's not new positions, it's not new stuff, it's all the stuff that we've talked about, but they primarily come from 5 resolutions. 1, supporting the quality of life and sustainable design elements in multifamily housing developments. 2, supporting the use of sustainable Hawaiian plant landscapes and increasing food security. 3, requesting the Hawaii legislature to enhance hurricane preparedness for the state. And 4, calling on the mayor to keep his promise for no landfills in Hawaii. And 5, a resolution that we recently passed on suggestions for major development projects. So the rationale that I heard that at the special meeting was that our lives are not siloed. Food is not siloed. All of these issues that we're facing that we just talked about, waste management, new development, neighbors, all of that impacts the same systems that is in the Oahu Food Plan. And we map them, and we actually have very clear positions where you should be doing all of these things. in the food system plan, because it shouldn't be separate and distinct from all of the rest of the development plans. So that is the work that I was charged to do. I have done that. Now I'm entertaining a motion to adopt that. And if I recall correctly, there was a recommendation from Dr. Bosler to amend this to add vertical farming. And so these are the positions we've already taken. So the chair is asking for a motion to adopt the mapping that was already done from our current resolutions, but also include the separate and distinct issue of encouraging vertical farming where appropriate. It's been moved by Vice Chair Michaela Lundstone, seconded by Sheila Medeiros. Excuse me, Sheila Medeiros. Is there any public testimony? Everybody get it? This is the same food plan that the earlier civic servant came up and shared with us from the Opala crew on the food system plan. And this is where we just want to make sure that our community's mana'o thoughts gets inputted from all of the good work that we've done over the last 3 years. Because if we don't do them, it's not going to happen. Hearing no one coming up, I only seen lots of nods from the community members present and online. So public testimony going once, going twice, going 3 times, and closed. Any discussion? Any further amendments? Any further changes? Okay, no more nothing. No discussions. Okay, the chair, is there any objections to us providing comments that was previously mapped as indicated, including vertical farms? So the comments mapping the 5 resolutions concepts to the Oahu Sustainability Plan and including vertical farms where appropriate. Is there any objection? Hearing no objection, the chair calls it unanimous, and we are now done with the primary hana for the evening and all of our work. And now we get to go to committee reports. First committee up this evening. Let me see.
First one up.
Who is first? Environment?
Transportation.
Sorry. Chair Michael for our transportation report. Go right ahead.
Hi, Chair. No, I think we covered transportation fairly thoroughly this evening. So I will defer to Parks and Recreation or back to the chair. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Parks and Rec. Any updates for us?
No major updates, but if you've passed by Kapolei Regional Park, it's probably the healthiest I've ever seen it since its opening. I just think Laura Thielen is doing a great job. There's a new maintenance person named Kanani. She's really made a difference, but our parks are looking good on our side of the island. So mahalo.
Nice. Dr. Dudley is not here with us this evening, so we will defer his report. Beautification and Holiday has been Miss Carol England. Go right ahead.
Okay, so I don't know if y'all know this, on June 27th, Saturday, 8:30 to 11, we have a Kapolei Hale cleanup, and I'm just reminding everybody, if you'd like to join in, you have to sign up. It's www.picktime.com/SWQ if you want to come out and volunteer.
Awesome. Now we have a new community outreach chairperson, Dr. Amy Bosler. So that committee has been bifurcated, and chair for education is Sheila Madera. So let's start with community outreach. Dr. Amy Bosler, any updates?
None at this time. Well, all of the, I do, sorry. The GROW program is now up on our social media page, as will be the ways that our community can get involved with OMPO policy meeting. And there's one other presentation or discussion that we had tonight that I put up as well. Apologize, it's late, I can't remember, but please check our social media pages for updates and information from our board. Thank you.
Okay. Mahalo. And before we go to the report on education, I would just like to highlight at our special board meeting, we did review and discuss a formal complaint that came to myself and Treasurer Sheila Medeiros. And one of the complaints issues that it brought up was regarding social media. So at the special meeting, we did adopt a social media policy, clarifying specific things that are in line with the best practices as recommended from NCO for posting. And we also took a step further where we also, as a board, said that any candidate that filed for any political office would not have administrative privileges on any of our social media accounts. So they can still serve on the committee and they can still do outreach, but they will not actually be the ones that get the final say with wording or verbiage. If anything is out of line, we'll give that determination first glance to the non-candidate chair of the outreach committee. And second, we also added we added that because of the recommendation from Representative Kanani Souza. So we took a recommendation to heart, and all members unanimously passed the social media policy. So as far as I know, we're the only board that actually has a social media policy to enforce a certain standard of engagement across members. And lastly, I want to thank our outgoing community outreach chair, Sheila Medeiros, for doing an outstanding job of revitalizing our social media presence through multiple different channels. And I think she did a heck of a job. And staying on the bright line of our new policy, she stepped down from the chair position. And now Dr. Amy Bosler is stepped up. And we're blessing our fellow board member, Sheila Medeiros, on her candidacy and her campaign so that she can fly free without any implications within the neighborhood board structure. Yeah. Okay. And now let's turn it over to Sheila Medeiros, still chair for education.
Actually, I'm still part of the community outreach committee. So we still do heavily involvement in food distribution. So I was just at the Cow for Keiki right before I came here. So we are on our 5th week with Cow for Keiki summer school lunch program. We are always looking for volunteers. So if you have nothing to do from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, we still have 5 more weeks to go. It's right at Inspire Church at 602 Komohana Street. So if you have time, please come on down. We also have a Kapolei Food Bank Drive every second Saturday of the month. We also need volunteers for that as well. And I'm glad we talked about vertical farming, because I'm not sure if you folks know that there is a vertical farm right here in Mehana, and it's in a container. And I went and I had a tour, and I know who runs it, and she was supposed to be here this month to do a presentation, but she's sort of busy right now, but she will be, hopefully I'm trying to get her to do it in August. And I have never tasted vegetables that fresh in my life. And it's right here. It's in Mehana. It's in a container. You will not, you'll pass it. You don't know. It's kind of disguised really, but when you walk in it, they have just vertical vegetables all in like different, like, I don't know, what do you call it? Like screens. And it's everything you can think of. And it's right there in the affordable apartments. And what is beautiful about it is every weekend they open it up so the keikis within that development can go in and learn, take some vegetables from that area. So I bring that all up because my goal is to have this vertical farm in each school so that they can start learning on how to grow their own food and in different ways. We want them to learn how to grow it traditionally, but there's also other ways to grow food. But if you've never tasted vertical farming vegetables, I'm telling you, it'll blow your mind. Right. That's all I have.
Mahalo, thank you for the good work of all of our committees doing amazing work in the community and uplifting our Pilina and our ability to be good neighbors to each other and to the Aina. And I am super proud and excited to say during the announcement that our next meeting is July 22nd at 7 p.m. at Kapolei-Hale and at WebEx, because I haven't been able to say that for the last 4 meetings because we always ran out of time. And with that final announcement, I now call the meeting adjourned. Mahalo nui loa. You guys have a wonderful evening, everyone. Aloha.